Now, I want to talk to you about career coaches. Do you actually need one? Are they all that they're cracked out to be? Am I a career coach? How do I work? Do you need to work with me? And do you need to look at other people that can promise you or say that they can get you a job in a short amount of time? We're going to go through that in this video. Now, I want this to be, as the majority of the other videos that you see, a one take video where I tell you my honest viewpoint, raw, unfiltered, and my honest thoughts about the job market, solutions to specific problems, as well as what you can do to actually generate massive success and get into the job of your dreams. Okay, so do you need a career coach? Yes and no. It depends on you. It's like saying, do you need a lawyer? Depending on the problem you have. And some lawyers are great, others are probably going to get you in a mess. So you have to be really picky about what career coach or lawyer you go for if you need one. Now, let's assess if you need one, and then let's assess what the right one would be. Now, do you need one? There's many different sort of viewpoints for why career coaches are required for certain job seekers. You might not be getting any interviews. If that's the case, you need to really reassess why that's happening. You might not need a career coach. You might just change one viewpoint of your strategy and you might get 3 interviews a week. Now, if that's not happening, you don't know what that is, then you might need someone to guide you. You might need someone to say to you, right, this is where you're going wrong. This is what you need to change. And then if you change that and if you implement that change, you end up getting 3-4 interviews a week. If that's the case and you're confident in your interviewing ability and you're confident you're finding the right roles, then it's pretty clear you're going to get an offer sooner rather than later. Now, then you have to assess, is it worth paying the money for a career coach or spending months and months and months, hopefully getting a role? Some people are completely happy with paying in time. Other people would rather pay in money, finances, to eliminate the time. So if it's going to take you 4, 5, 6 months to hopefully get a role and you're fairly confident that you're going to get into a position, then you might not need a career coach. If it's not going to cost you, and when I say cost, I don't mean limiting that to just finances. Job search is costly. It will cost you time, money, energy, nerves, your happiness, your mental health. So you need to be really clear about how much time you can allocate to this and what you're willing to pay to get the job done. Now, there are a lot of people who should not get career coaches. I've worked with job seekers and we've come to the point of understanding that they probably didn't need a career coach because they weren't really too fussed about where they wanted to work. They were just looking for any job. So when you're attempting to work with me, the question that I ask is, are you looking for just any job or are we looking for the job? Is it something that will move the needle in your life? If it's any position, I'm pretty confident that if you apply for the next 6 months, you can probably get something. It might not be the right fit. It might take a little bit longer. But if that's a strategy that you're okay with, you do not need a career coach. However, if you're looking for a role that you can get into in a short amount of time, where it's 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, maybe 90 days, depending on what role and what help you need, and you want to get into 2 to 3 offers on the table before you accept one, that's a good viewpoint to get a career coach. So you can eliminate the time, the stress, the not knowing if you're going to get into a role, and actually have a strategy that gets you not one offer, but multiple offers so you can select the best one. That would be a good reason to do it. Now, let's look at what other people are offering in the marketplace. Traditional career coaches will charge you anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 for roughly about 4 to 6 weeks of coaching. Now, that coaching is very traditional. This is my opinion. Some career coaches out there will disagree with me. They'll have cheaper programs. They'll have something a little bit more guaranteed, something a little bit more to the point or customized, and more power to them. But the traditional career coaches are quite costly and they focus on the CV and the cover letter and the LinkedIn and the interview prep. There's usually a lack of strategy that I find. And the lack of strategy is because traditional career coaches are very traditional. They have, in my opinion, focused on a market that used to run 5, 10 years ago. You have a great resume, CV, you make applications, you shortlist companies, you hopefully get a role or an interview, you then prep for that interview. And if all goes well, that's an investment that pays off really well. But the market's changed a bit. And then you'll start to see people on Instagram, on LinkedIn, who are offering these programs for a couple of £100, a couple of $100, all the way up to $20,000 to actually coach you one-on-one. Some of them are great, some of them not so much. And you have to really assess who you're working with. Are you working with people who really seen that there's a big demand for career coaching? If so, you have to be really careful, because there's a lot of people in this industry who are out there to just make money. They don't really care if they're going to help you. They'll have a program. They want to sell 1,000 units of that program. They have a £200 product. They want to sell it 1,000 times. Their target is to make $200,000 that year. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm very pro business, but at the same time, you want to be able to work with someone who has past performance. The reason I've created How to Job is I wanted something that I wish I had when I was looking for a role. I wanted someone to tell me, okay, this is how you present yourself in an interview. This is how you ask for more money. This is how you miss out on the mistakes where you can accept the wrong offer. These are very costly for you if you get it wrong. Now, a lot of career coaches out there are great. I'm not bashing any career coaches, but I want to make the statement that I'm not a career coach. I do not traditionally coach people in a career coach way, nor do I look at this just as a business to make money. I genuinely want to make sure that if you interact with any of my services, any of my staff, me, that it moves the needle in your life. I really make a point of showcasing testimonials from people who are first comfortable to do so, but also to share the difference it's made in their life. Now, if you're at a stage where you need to make a difference and you need a strategy, there's a lot of opportunities out there for you to look at. So you can work with career coaches, you can work with people who have past performance, and by all means, please check out if they have private limited companies with VAT registration numbers, with people that they worked in your field. And you also have to make sure that you've got a good gut feeling about these people. If somebody sounds too good to be true and there's something that's a little bit off, maybe dig a little bit deeper. I don't want to say don't go for them, but you never know. People will embellish stories. People will kind of sell themselves and oversell themselves just to get a sale. And that's sort of normal these days on the internet, because everybody's trying to promote themselves, everybody's trying to sell you a dream, and these things are the reality, unfortunately. But I think that at the same time, you can really find a lot of stuff that they've done in the past. So if you focus on the people that they've worked with and you reach out to those people. So one thing that I've made a really big habit of is posting on LinkedIn about the people that I've worked with, so they can actually share their side of the story in terms of how quickly it got into a role, how difficult it was, how easy it was. So I'm really proud of that. But I do get a lot of job seekers that have purchased other programs that they shouldn't have really purchased, because they didn't need a career coach in the first place, or they just needed a different type of help. So won't name any names, but there are coaches out there which will get you into a program, sell you the world, but it's just a CV rewrite. There are coaches out there that will tell you that they're going to do salary negotiation, and it just ends up being something you can find on ChatGPT. So you have to be really careful in that regard. You want to work with someone who has a brand, who works with people in your space. I'm not the right person for everybody. For example, if you're looking to get into the medical industry as a doctor, I'm probably not going to be the right fit. If you're a lawyer and you need, a legal career progression, I could probably give you some good ideas, but I wouldn't specialize in that area. So the reason I've said I'm not a career coach is I'm a business owner that understands how companies work. I understand how companies hire. I also understand where people make mistakes to actually fall short in either getting an interview, passing an interview, getting the right offer. I see it every day. The good thing about my experience is it's been 15 years of speaking to people, understanding how the industry's evolved, and also having a good idea as a prediction of where the industry is going with newer technology, with AI, with all these things changing in the marketplace. So dealing with a career coach who, firstly, I think you need to assess the question, do you need one? If the answer is yes, okay, that's good to know. If you don't need one, that's also good to know. But then you want to find out, okay, well, who can I work with that I've got a good feeling about? Gut feeling, I think, goes a really long way. Now, make sure you don't get the gut feeling compromised by just a glitzy, amazing website and, all these false promises. I think your gut feeling usually, most people anyway, will kind of go off a little bit. Something doesn't feel right. And that's completely normal. The good thing to do is to just assess and compare with so many different services. The good thing right now is there's so many different services out there. So go with your gut. That's number one piece of advice that I would say. And also when people approach me, I also say the same thing by saying, well, look, you've seen the brand, you've seen the past performance. What does your gut tell you? Is this something you feel that you need? Because it helps me eliminate time wasters as well as for me. I want to manage people's expectations. If they're, yeah, I like it, but I'm not 100%, don't do it. Don't join the program. Don't work with us until you are 100%. And also maybe look at the marketplace and compare it to other coaches, other, services out there. Again, not a career coach, business owner that understands how the system works. And I feel that I'm pretty good at communication. And I think a lot of people reach out to me to be able to increase the quality of their communication as well as have a strategy. So I've worked with so many different types of people to know what works and what doesn't. And I think if we customize that to a need that you have, that makes it a little bit easier for you to kind of assess your situation, to know where you need to go. If you're not getting 3 interviews a week, every week, you need guidance. Whether that's the guidance that you kind of figure out yourself or reach out to someone to help you, that's up to you. Now, if you're getting interviews and you're not converting 3 of those interviews into one offer every 2 to 3 weeks, you then need to assess what's going on. Maybe you need to focus more on the interview prep. Again, everybody's different. There's no clear-cut way of doing this. So I'm very careful how I'm structuring what I'm saying. There's no exact science to working with people. Some people are more confident than others. Some people blitz through interviews with ease. Some people get a little bit lucky. Other people have confidence issues, imposter syndrome. Some people look for roles that require more experience than they have, and they're completely fine applying to those and networking and reaching out to people and being able to have a strategy. Others, not so much. Some people are introverted. Some people are extroverted. Some people get roles in 4 weeks. Other people take 4 months. So everybody is different. There is no exact science. But in my opinion, if you need a strategy, if you need someone to talk you through what you need to change to have a better chance of securing multiple interviews, then the good thing for you is that you've come to that realization to know something's not working. I like to work with people who've really had a little bit of an issue in 3 months. So usually I say to people, look, if you've just been applying for a week, spend another 2 months, figure out what's not working, come back to me. If it's been 3 months, let's assess why you haven't had at least 3 interviews that nearly got into an offer in 3 months, because then there's something wrong. And in most cases, it's a very easy fix. Market saturation, being able to explain your LinkedIn profile better, answering a question, tell me about yourself in an interview, having the right final stage interview questions, for example. These are very easy fixes. But also there are different things to different people where it could be a whole host of different problems that are very easily fixed, providing that there is a communication there. So, summary of everything. Do you need a career coach? Yes and no. It depends on you. It depends on what your target is. It depends on what you're paying and what you're comfortable paying. And what I mean by that is, are you comfortable paying 6 months of your time to hopefully get into a role? Or are you comfortable paying a financial fee to get you into a role faster? Do you need somebody that will not only help you get a job, but actually improve your communication, give you a skill that you can use to get into another role? Do you need a structure that you can follow confidently to get the job done? Because if you get into a role, your life changes. It's a dramatic life change in a positive way. If you get the wrong job, that's also a dramatic life change in a negative way. So the risk reward needs to make sense. The financial investment needs to make sense. The time investment needs to make sense. And if it doesn't, then the answer is no, you probably don't need one. If you've been applying for jobs for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, and you haven't had any interviews or not enough interviews, so you're nowhere near a offer, you probably need some guidance. I would love the fact if you would consider me, but again, for us to work together, you cannot purchase any services on our website. You do need to apply to any programs. I'm going to leave a link in the description. I'm going to leave my LinkedIn. If you deal with me and you don't buy any products, that's completely fine. No problem. I do these YouTube videos to give you free content that you can then utilize and make a decision for yourself. Again, there is a lot of stuff online, so you have to be really, really careful. My motive here is to build the brand, build the past performance, really create cool products. So we have Interviewly as a product, which helps you interview better. I'm going to leave the link in the description for that, so you can see if you need to improve your interviews. I'm going to be doing more videos on that. We also have another product, which we built called Hello HR, which allows you to email HR people with a template that is actually designed to get their attention. So if you got to this stage of the video, I want to say thank you. And if you can like and subscribe, it costs you nothing. It means the world to me and it motivates me to make more of these videos. So I'll see you on the next one.